When the world stopped. This was a few years ago, but I still remember it perfectly, as does my sister. We needed to pick up a few essentials for the house, so we just went to the Walmart nearest to us. The sun was shining and it was earlier in the day. We're in the back of the store at this point and had just picked up the milk. Now we're ready to head out. But as we're turning the corner to walk down the main aisle to the registers, it feels like time completely stopped. Keep in mind, the store was packed full of shoppers. But everything and everyone went dead silent, and it felt like we were going in slow motion, and so was everyone else. It lasted around 7 seconds. Once we fully turned the corner and the sounds and movements, including ours, became normal again, we both stopped and gave each other a bewildered look. I still can't explain it, but it always blows my mind when I think back on it. Comments. I actually had this happen to me. I was very young at the time, but I was in kindergarten. A friend and I were swinging on the swings. Next thing you know, time just kinda froze for about the same time, 5 to 7 seconds. The swing didn't go back. It was odd because I was still able to look around at normal speed. No other kids were moving. Even the birds were just stopped. The moment I looked back into my friend's eyes, time resumed, and I even asked him about it and he proclaimed nothing happened. To this day I remember this clearly, and seeing some of these comments help with some answers. After 2015, reports of incongruent memories of events exploded on the internet and continued throughout 2016 to 2019. Things started to slow down in late 2019. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what happened between 2014 and 2015 that changed everything. But nothing has been the same for me since then. I can still recall in 2015 experiencing what I could only describe as micro blackouts, where everything would go black but only for a brief second. It's as if someone was turning the light in a brightly lit room on and off repeatedly. At the time I assumed I was just having a weird reaction to my blood pressure medication. Looking back on it now, I have no idea why I rationalized it away like that. But in 2016 I realized that the reality I was now living in was very different than the one I knew. Before the Large Hadron Collider was fired up, some people suspected it would destroy the universe. When it started, it apparently did not. However, there is a theory that it did indeed destroy that universe. Now some pair that with the infinite universe theory and say that in all the universes where it did destroy that universe, it shifted people into similar but not exact universe that weren't destroyed. This is a common explanation for the Mandela effect. Not saying it exactly pairs up with your experience, but it goes along with it. Welcome to our channel. We will post videos every day. Please like, share and subscribe. This will help us make more content for you. Thank you.
Car crash in the parallel universe. In the summer of 2017, around 2 hours after my grandfather passed away, me and my sister were in a horrific car accident. It was a bit past midnight. We were on our way to my grandpa's house. I was behind the wheel and driving moderately fast. I was supposed to make a U-turn, but the brakes failed and we hit the guardrail. The front of the car was demolished and both of us were badly injured. I believe I lost consciousness for a few seconds, and when I woke up again, I looked at her and saw blood all over her face and realized that she too had lost her consciousness. She was slowly coming on, when I squeezed myself out of the window and went to the other side to get her out of the car. Her door was stuck just like mine, so I couldn't get her out. People started to gather around and called 911. The firefighters came and removed the door and finally brought her out of the car. When the ambulance was taking us to the hospital, I was having the longest déjà vu of my entire life. I knew which hospital we were going, even though nobody told me. I knew how the interior of the hospital looked like, somewhere I've never been before. I even knew the name of the doctor who was supposed to stitch me up, someone that I've never met before. It's weird, because as soon as me and my sister were alone and could talk to each other, she told me about how she feels like she's been there before and was feeling déjà vu the whole time. It might seem normal for people who suffered head trauma to experience these kinds of things and read too much into something that isn't actually there, but it's a lot more weird than it seems like on first glance. I believe that both of us died on that timeline, but for some reason our consciousnesses switched on into parallel versions of ourselves in another universe. And the constant feeling of déjà vu was because of our consciousnesses settling into the bodies of our alternate selves with the original consciousnesses still present, which caused the feeling of experiencing everything twice. Now here's something truly bizarre. There was this song called Zalim by Mohsen Chavoshi, which our mom loved and listened to almost every day. Even when my mom didn't play it, my older brother would. It was kind of a signature song in our home back in 2005 to 2007. So, a few months after the crash, I was having a conversation with one of my co-eds about music. She was without a doubt the #1 fan of Mohsen Chavoshi, to the point that we used to call her Chavoshist. She was talking about her favorite Chavoshi song, and I just remembered all those years of listening to Zalim. I said, yeah, he's a good singer. My mom loved Zalim, she used to play it on repeat until someone became sick of hearing it. She frowned and asked me about the song that I just mentioned. She said that he doesn't have a song named Zalim. I thought maybe I got the name wrong, so I sang the chorus. She shook her head and said it's not Chavoshi's song. She named Farak as the singer. I swore that the song I used to listen to was Chavoshi's. His voice is unmistakable, there's no way I'd be wrong about that. So she asked me to send her the song. Obviously, I didn't have our old computer in which the song was stored on. And I couldn't find our old Chavoshi mix CD. So I googled it, and no matter how much I looked, I couldn't find it online. I even searched by the lyrics and only found the song Zalim by Farak. I thought, maybe it's the same song and I was wrong all along, so I downloaded and listened to it. But the song by Farak can't be more different from what I remember. Sure, it has the same lyrics, but the melody and genre of it is completely different. So, I asked my mom about it, and guess what? She never heard of it, neither did my brother, who gave us the song in the first place. They have no recollection of that song, whether it's Chavoshi's or Farak's. On the other hand, my sister remembers it. I sang her the chorus and she said it was Chavoshi's song. Somehow she and I have memories about a song which doesn't even exist in this world. I don't know why, or even how it's possible, but I sincerely believe that we moved through the dimensions when we were both unconscious after the crash. I've heard stories that happened to other people, which are similar to our experience. I don't want to get in too much on this one, but I think it has something to do with my grandpa's death. Maybe we were supposed to die that night, but his death caused an event which led to us moving on into another universe, where we didn't die. If you and your sister separately write memoirs, without influencing or communicating with each other, it would be basically proof that we switch realities when we die if there are enough matching details present in both your stories which are different than this reality. Not only that, but if people die together, they might end up switching to the same new reality. My guess is, if there's a multiverse with infinite, or at least numerous, parallel universes, whose proximity to each other correlates with the similarities of their contents, then it stands to reason that one's consciousness takes the easiest path to the closest universe to its own. Seems like something that would happen in nature.
Sounds like you and your sister did jump. Be aware of other subtle differences and let us know here. And welcome to our world, where it feels like home, almost. The world went black for a second. This happened years ago, I want to say 2005 or something. I remember sitting outside my house on the front steps with some friends talking about random things that I can't remember now. All of a sudden the world went completely dark for a second. At first I thought it was a bit weird but just assumed I blinked for a bit longer than usual and that's why it felt weird. I didn't tell anyone cause I didn't want to sound weird. About a minute later one of my friends has a shocked face and said, "Did you guys see that? The world went dark for a second." I didn't tell him I had the same experience and we all just laughed off his comment and said that he blinked. I've always thought this was a weird coincidence, but it was just really bizarre now that I am remembering it as an adult. The hotel room shifted beneath us as we slept. Was on a road trip with family once. We stayed at a hotel for a night. Our room was nothing more than 2 beds, and a restroom, with a big mirror on across from the beds. Everyone went to sleep but me. I stayed up playing a mobile game I was addicted to at the time. At about 2 a.m. I went to sleep. When I woke up, I noticed something was just ever so slightly off. The mirror was gone. The room had 2 separate bedrooms, and there were 3 beds. Apparently I was the only one who noticed it because my family called me crazy. Still confused as hell to this day as to what happened. Do you have a story about a parallel universe? Please share it with us in the comments and we will post it on the channel. See you soon.